Thank you for joining us on Nationwide News on the network service of the NTA. I am Norlene Ebel-Ame, and welcome. We begin the broadcast in the State House, where President Bola Tinubu this Friday received his Gabonese counterpart, Brice Nguema. President Nguema, who is in Nigeria on an investment drive, paid a courtesy call on the Nigerian leader at the State House. The Gabonese president thanked President Tinubu for his solidarity and support to his country during the transitional period. President Nguema assumed the presidency after the removal of Ali Bongo in August 2023 and was later elected a presidential election and sworn in as a president last month. Speaking to State House correspondent Musbaud Wahab afterwards, President Nguema says his mission now is to build the economy of his country.
Les affaires au Gabon en ce moment, ça marche.
Well, things are going very well in Gabon right now, and as I said to His Excellency President Bola Tinubu, we are for South-South cooperation, and we believe that it will be a good thing that the Nigerian companies come to Gabon and work and invest in the oil, manganese and mineral fields. As I said, those companies should come to Gabon and invest more. Things are going very well. Thank you.
Les entreprises nigérianes viennent s'installer à Libreville chez nous et commencer.
The political crisis in Rivers State, leading to a state of emergency, has finally been resolved. This followed a meeting President Bola Tinubu had with the suspended Rivers State Governor Siminalayi Fubara and his predecessor Nyesom Wike. The meeting at the late hours of Thursday night also had other political stakeholders from the state in attendance. The protracted Rivers political crisis manifested in division amongst members of the State House of Assembly, with a part at loggerheads with the state governor.
June 2025, that peace has finally returned to the state. We all agreed to work together with the governor, and the governor also agreed to work together with all of us who are members of the same political family. Yes, just like humans, you have a disagreement, and then you also have a time to also settle your disagreement, and that has been finally concluded today, and we have come to report to Mr. President that is what we have agreed. So for me, everything is over, and enjoy everybody who believe to work with us, to also work together with everybody. That there's no more acrimony, there's nothing to say we are disagreeing. We have all agreed on everything. So we thank God. For me, it's a day we have to thank Almighty God.
For me, it's very important that this day has come to be. What we need for the progress of Rivers State is peace. And by the special grace of God this night, with the help of Mr. President and the agreement of the leaders of the states, including our leader, peace has returned in Rivers State. We'll do everything within our power to make sure that we sustain it this time around.
President Tinubu had on March 18 this year declared a state of emergency in Rivers for 6 months following political unrest, which the president said was already having negative impact on critical national assets. In other news, INEC has identified some flashpoints in Anambra State ahead of the governorship election and advised security agencies to take proactive steps. INEC chairman, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, gave the advice at a meeting with security agencies ahead of the Anambra FCT and 16 by-elections.
As we plan for the by-elections, the Anambra State governorship election, and the resumption of the continuous voter registration, I call on security agencies to make adequate and proactive arrangements for the protection of personnel and assets to be deployed by the Commission and all stakeholders for these activities. There are some specific areas of security concern raised by political parties, civil society organizations, and the media at our last consultative meetings with them a few days ago.
Our primary objective remains to safeguard the integrity of the upcoming elections. Therefore, we must ensure that eligible voters across the country or in the affected part of the country exercise their right to vote without fear or intimidation.
Authority agencies promised to also provide enabling environment during the continuous voters registration exercise. In a major push towards e-governance, the National Information Technology Development Agency, NIDA, and stakeholders in the information technology industry are discussing how to accelerate digital transformation across Nigeria's public sector. Conversations center on gains of utilizing its solutions in government operations and how efforts can be aligned towards integrating and deepening automation technology such as artificial and blockchain for enhanced technology-driven service delivery for all.
Your decisions are data-driven. Every sector of the economy will benefit from the digitalization of their operations.
Not only will you have low productivity if you don't utilize some of these IT automation solutions, but you can affect the service to the public. You can manage the security of the hardware, that phone or tablet. You can also make sure it is not being used for things that you didn't buy it for, right? And that helps that employee to be productive when they can't access what they're not supposed to.
A National Institute for Drug Awareness and Rehabilitation is underway as a beacon of hope, serving as a center for research, public sensitization, and a safe haven for victims of drug abuse. To this end, the Senate convenes a public hearing on the bill for an act to establish the institute. National Assembly correspondent Amina Saidu reports.
Representing the President of the Senate, Chief Whip Senator Tahir Mungunu highlighted the alarming rate of drug abuse, linking it to a surge in crime rates and the gradual erosion of societal values.
It is a crisis that demands our immediate and unwavering attention. And this bill before us represents a significant step towards a comprehensive and sustainable solution.
Sponsor of the bill, Senator Rufai Hanga, emphasized its significance in addressing the growing social crisis and reinforcing the nation's fight against drug-related issues.
The bill is designed with sustainability in mind. The Institute will leverage partnership with international agencies, NGOs, and private sector players.
We are here to extract a lot of information that will add value whatever we are doing.
Some stakeholders in the sector, however, weighed in, raising concerns about possible overlaps and with existing institutions such as NDLEA, Ministry of Health, Ministry of Women Affairs and NAPTIP, all of which are already engaged in collaborative efforts to combat drug abuse. From the National Assembly, Amina Saidu, NTA News.
Still staying with the National Assembly, the House of Representatives Committee on University Education is to engage relevant stakeholders in finding the cause of the removal of former Vice-Chancellor and dissolution of Governing Council of the University of Abuja. At an investigative hearing, the committee promised to intervene and resolve the industrial dispute in the university. Federal government is engaging industry players in the power sector to key into initiatives that target addressing quackery and a shortage of manpower in the sector. Joshua Ojito reports that the skills development for the power sector is expected to create 4,000 jobs for youth on solar installation and maintenance, as well as meter installation. The National Power Training Institute of Nigeria is facilitating the program.
With Mr. President's renewed hope agenda, especially as relates to economic growth and job creation, we want to foster, innovation. We want to foster collaboration with all stakeholders to build, skill, especially in the areas of critical skill sets that the power sector requires in order to grow.
Oftentimes we do training, we do capacity building, but at the end of the day, it doesn't translate into actual job opportunities. But for the first time, what we did with NAPTIN is both the two. The capacity development through training and development and internship, as well as creating job opportunities for this Nigerian youth.
The enforcement mandate NEMSA, which has to do with the enforcement of technical standards and regulations, cannot be effectively carried out if we don't have the professionals, the skills and competence workforce in the sector.
Meanwhile, Yobe State government has keyed into federal government initiative to provide electricity to unserved and underserved communities. A memorandum of understanding has been signed between the state government and the Rural Electrification Agency to catalyze renewable energy investment in the state. Salwa Khalil Ibrahim reports.
So we intend to ensure that
in continuation of engagement with state government and subnationals to leverage opportunities in the renewable energy subsector, the Rural Electrification Agency has engaged Yobe State government. From distributed access through renewable energy scale-up to EHAT, among other interventions by the federal government, Yobe State government expresses willingness to explore the interventions, thereby improving access to electricity in the state.
Expectations are so high, and like I said, we have the political will, zeal, and commitment to push it through. The investors who are also willing to partner with us, we have already provided the enabling environment, and that will see us through by the grace of God.
Expectation is to see the private sector deploying $1.1 billion into the sector, based on also the public funding of about $1 billion that the federal government had already committed.
On that memorandum of understanding signed, REA is expected to mobilize renewable energy developers to Yobe State with funding from donor partners, with the state expected to pay counterpart fund and provide enabling environment. In Abuja, Salwa Khalil Ibrahim, NTA News.
In other news, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has appointed Morenike Grace Henry as chairman of the National Council of the Nigerian Legion, making her the first woman in the nation's history to lead the veteran organization. The appointment was disclosed in a statement by the new national chairman. Before the appointment, Morenike Henry, a military veteran and a founder of the Female Military Veteran Association, FMVA, served as the Director of Corporate Affairs at the national headquarters of the Nigerian Legion. Her appointment reflects the Tinubu administration's continued support for gender inclusion and women's affirmative action in public service. She is also the Chief Executive Officer of Hengramo Care Home, a voluntary organization. As chairman, she is expected to work with the Ministry of Defense to enhance the welfare of ex-servicemen, support families of fallen soldiers, and promote training, employment, and reintegration programs for veterans. Harnessing social cohesion data by government at all levels will improve national policies and programs, tackle development challenges, as well as promote national unity. This was the consensus at the Africa Polling Institute Capacity Building Workshop on the use of social cohesion data on enhancing national policies, programs, and promoting effective reportage. Surveys conducted across the country by Africa Polling Institute revealed indicators such as declining public interest, social justice, gender inequality, and security challenges as components that continues to hinder development. The workshop seeks to address cohesion from a data-driven angle to influence policy direction of government and for the media to continue fostering unity through broadcasting.
With more confidence because there is data to back it up.
When you see that our health systems are failing, for example, it's a symptom of lack of social cohesion or insecurity or the economy. These are all symptoms of the lack of social cohesion that we all need to begin to put our heads together to address. So there needs to be a shared national interest.
The journalist has a role to play in terms of ensuring social cohesion, and I advocate that development journalism is the way to go.
The African Polling Institute is an opinion research think tank which conducts opinion polls, surveys, and evaluation studies at the intersection of democracy, governance, economic conditions, and public life. It's now time for us to join Hingino John Adams in our Lagos Network Center for more on Nationwide. Hello, Hingino. It's now time for us to join Hingino John.
Thank you, Norlene, and welcome to Lagos. Admitting powerlessness over addiction, believing in a power greater than oneself, and making a conscious decision to turn one's life over to that higher power. These have been described as the most critical first steps towards recovery from substance abuse. This formed part of discussions at a two-day training program on addiction recovery held in commemoration of the United Nations Day Against Drug Abuse and Illicit Trafficking. Awal Yusuf Jibo reports.
The burden of addiction continues to take a toll on families, communities, and public health systems. Its impact is far-reaching, often leaving victims isolated, stigmatized, and unable to access the help they need. In commemoration of the United Nations Day Against Drug Abuse and Illicit Trafficking, these officers of the NDLEA are being equipped with the skills to better understand and support individuals battling addiction.
We also have some clients that we are giving brief intervention. Those that are arrested during raids, we sort them out and we give them brief intervention. So these ones, the officers in the various area commands, because officers that are represented here are officers, drug demand reduction officers from the 13 area commands of Lagos Strategic Command. So in their various commands, they can have maybe one day in a week to gather those people they had given brief intervention to come back. That very day, they can gather them for these smart recovery meetings where they will use the tools they learned to keep on helping them.
Tagged Breaking the Cycle, Empowering Recovery Through Support, the two-day workshop focuses on practical techniques such as cognitive behavioral therapy, relapse prevention, as well as unconditional self-acceptance.
We are hoping to make Smart Recovery a national program. We are hoping to have Smart Recovery in different institutions, military, schools, community, and all whatnot, even making the compulsory part of the NDLEA program offering, and this is just first step in that direction.
Facilitators emphasize the critical role of community and peer support, stressing that helping individuals accept themselves is essential in preventing relapse and restoring a sense of self-worth. With addiction cases steadily on the rise, initiatives like this may just be the lifeline many victims need to reclaim their lives and rewrite their stories. In Lagos, Awal Yusuf Jibo, NTA News.
The Nigerian Academy of Engineering has inducted 12 new fellows and honored 8 other fellows who have attained the age of 75 years with Life Achievement Awards at its 2025 annual lecture in Lagos with the theme FCT Infrastructure Development, Challenges and Opportunities. This procession by engineering professionals who are dedicated to advancing excellence in science, engineering, technology and innovation to drive national development and international competitiveness set the tone for the induction of new fellows into the Nigerian Academy of Engineering.
The state governments.
President of the Academy said the body of professionals serves as a platform for experts to brainstorm and come up with recommendations for both the public and private sectors.
The Nigerian Academy of Engineering will continue its advocacy and activities for the promotion of TVET through the Joint Consultative Committee formed recently under the recently signed Memorandum of Understanding.
If Nigeria has people like that, what we need to do is just to bring them together and use them for our purpose.
Guest speaker and FCT Minister Nyesom Wike delivered a lecture on the theme. The Life Achievement Awards recipients are grateful to the body for recognizing their contributions. The induction is a dream come true for the new fellows as they get set to bring their wealth of knowledge to the academy.
This recognition is not one that we take lightly. It's both a crowning achievement and a renewed call to action.
As the new fellows become part of the think tank in the engineering space, it is expected that their impact will be felt in national engineering and technological issues. That's our contribution from Lagos. Time now for some messages. The news will be back with Nolene in Abuja.
Welcome back to Abuja on Nationwide. Wife of the Vice President of Nigeria, Nana Shettima, has described Nigeria and Brazil as culturally connected nations, united by shared values and traditions, despite the distance between them. She made the remark while receiving Maria Lucia Alckmin, the second lady of Brazil, who is in Nigeria on an official visit with her husband. Charles Alpha reports.
Wife of the Brazilian Vice President Maria Lucia Alckmin, during her courtesy call on her Nigerian counterpart Nana Shettima, shared the story of her women-focused social initiative she launched in 2001 while her husband served as governor of Sao Paulo. The bread-making project, she said, has empowered over 100,000 underprivileged women across 17 Brazilian states, with plans to expand nationwide. Wife of the Nigerian Vice President Nana Shettima praised the initiative and highlighted cultural similarities between the two nations.
As usual, Brazil and Nigeria, we have so many things in common in terms of hospitality, in terms of how we love our culture. So truly, I think you're homecoming. And thank you so very much for the honor done to my country.
On the second day of the engagement, Nigeria-Brazilian second ladies visited Arts Gallery, Kauri's initiative in Abuja, where wife of the Vice President of Nigeria and her visitors embarked on a cultural tour. The cultural tour was part of activities lined up for the visit. Charles Alpha, NTA News.
The National Working Committee of the governing All Progressives Congress has commiserated with Niger State over bandit attacks and Mokwa flooding, the twin incidents which claimed several lives and property. National Chairman of the party, Dr. Abdullahi Umar Ganduje, said the incidences were unfortunate and prayed to God to comfort the victims and the state. He also commended President Tinubu for approving watertight security around the forest and supporting the flood victims, while appreciating the state government for executing people's-oriented projects.
We we have to thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for sparing the lives of those who were able to escape, and also to give action of those for those who lost their lives, and for quick recovery for those who are sick as a result of the flood incidents.
You have also added to the unfortunate incidents of the banditry that led to the death of about 20 soldiers. Also want to thank you for this condolence. Again, you have come here with wisdom and direction on how we can navigate through all these crises. I want to thank you for your leadership.
The governor promised to continue to prioritize security and economic development to guarantee food security and promote human empowerment. The recent directive from the Anambra state government mandating all house owners to repaint their properties in the public view area by July 1, 2025 has sparked a wave of mixed reactions amongst residents. While some see the directive as an effort to improve the aesthetic appeal of the state, others express concerns over its economic impact on families. Onome Okadibo reports.
The directive announced by the state government requires homeowners to repair their homes, especially those in council areas like Onitsha North, Oka South, Nnewi North, Idemili North, Ogbaru and Agwata, which the government says will create a more cohesive and aesthetic pleasing environment.
If you're able to repaint your house, please, by all means, do so. If you live in a very dilapidated building, by all means, please put it in order. Because if the building falls or if the building collapses, the people will have casualties. We don't want to have casualties.
Showing that he wants the road to look uniform, both the road, both the houses. That when anyone passes by, you will surely know that he passed through Anambra State.
It's a good thing, seriously. Truth be told, it's a good thing, but I suggest our government come in and help us in that aspect or that area.
However, many residents have expressed concerns about the financial burden of repairing their homes.
It is difficult for somebody to say he wants to paint a house in a space of 3 weeks. It is difficult.
The painting is not actually what we need now. People are crying for money to even feed themselves very well.
As the July 1st deadline approaches, observers say if implemented, the initiative will achieve its intended goals of community engagement. In Oka, Onome Okadibo, NTA News.
Now, beyond making deals and charting a new way forward for Africa's economic prosperity, the Afreximbank Annual Meeting 2025, ongoing in Abuja, also highlights our convergence of culture and commerce. Nigeria's First Lady Oluremi Tinubu, while playing host to visiting African First Ladies on the sideline of the meeting, applauds the potential of arts to strengthen the bond of unity on the continent. State House correspondent Adeni Tayo reports.
Unique, beautiful and African. That is the welcome that African First Ladies from Malawi, Gabon and representatives from Egypt and Tanzania who are attending the Afreximbank Annual Meeting 2025 received on the margins of the meeting in Abuja. Their host, Nigeria's First Lady Oluremi Tinubu, was more than proud to show them around one of Africa's foremost art galleries and Nigeria's national pride, Niger Art Gallery. There, 25,000 pieces of storytelling artworks and other creative tangible forms representing the soul of Africa are on ample display. From one row to the other, they take it all in, appreciating the fine details and crafted messages which call out to their essence. The cultural diversity of Nigeria also took the center stage at an exhibition show where the guests savour an African fashion parade interspersed with more cultural offerings. For the visiting first ladies, there is more, as the Jazz First Lady, playing a perfect host, led them on an excursion around Nigerian designer stores to sightsee and shop. Though relaxed, the crux of the reception is not so far removed from the main agenda of the AfCFTA annual general meeting.
Culture is the future gold. There's every connectivity. AfCFTA Bank is a Pan-African bank, and Nigeria is known for culture. Africa is known for culture. So AfCFTA Bank surely will support anything that will bring out the culture of Africa, and that's why we're here.
It's a business, but art is life and life is art. So anything you do with your hand, creativity. Actually, one of our artists is selling $3.4 million in US. That is the daughter of Dora. Whatever artist, if you support it, we can water it, and it will be green all year round. I've been to 54 countries in Africa, and I'm happy to see them here instead of me going there. So, and we thank our First Lady, the woman of honor, who brings the honor to the art.
To mark their visit to Nigeria, the visiting First Ladies received art pieces and other items as souvenirs in Abuja. Adeni Itaiwo, NTA News.
In a similar news, a major push for Africa's economic integration took center stage on the sidelines of the AfCFTA Bank annual meetings, where key stakeholders deliberated on operationalizing the African Continental Free Trade Area AfCFTA, with the theme enhancing domestic capacities for optimizing the opportunities of AfCFTA for Africa's prosperity and mitigating the external threats to its implementation. The forum focused on unlocking Africa's full trade potential through stronger local industries and cross-border collaboration. Musa Abubakar has more on this.
Africa stands on the brink of a trade revolution. With 54 countries on board, the African Continental Free Trade Area, AfCFTA, is more than a treaty. It is a bold vision for a united, prosperous continent. On the sidelines of the 2025 AfCFTA Bank annual meetings, key players in Africa's economic future gathered for a business forum with one mission: to operationalize the AfCFTA.
This forum is a platform for collaboration. Today we will start insights and chart strategies to strengthen institutions and regulatory frameworks, build resilient supply chains and industries.
We are on our course to disburse more than $40 billion to support intra-African trade. So we believe that we really need to do more to support the AfCFTA.
The forum, hosted by the African Business Roundtable, spotlighted the need for African countries to strengthen domestic capacities, from manufacturing and logistics to regulatory frameworks, to unlock the full benefits of intra-African trade.
The true dividends of AfCFTA will only be realized if all African countries build internal capacities.
We need to trade among ourselves a made in Africa product, which is value added, which is quality, which is competitive, which is standardized.
On a historic moment, the African Business Roundtable marked its 30th anniversary with a commemorative book celebrating 3 decades of advocacy for Africa's private sector and integration agenda. In Abuja, I am Musa Abubakar, NTA News.
Let's shift our attention to education now. In line with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's mandate to ensure every child has access to quality education, the National Commission for Almajiri and Out-of-School Children's Education has commenced the National Out-of-School Children mop-up exercise in Kano to achieve the objectives. Shehu Adamu has the report.
According to UNICEF, Nigeria is one of the countries with the highest number of out-of-school children in the world. However, in a determined effort to address the challenge, the National Commission for Almajiri and Out-of-School Children's Education has launched a comprehensive mop-up exercise in Kano State to reduce the number of out-of-school children in the country. The exercise that commenced at Gwale local government area of Kano marks the beginning of an ambitious nationwide initiative.
My children don't attend Western school. Out of my 9 children, 4 attend school.
The Almajiri Commission plans to build schools in all the 774 local government areas of Nigeria to ensure access to quality education and long-term sustainability.
I am advising parents to always ensure their children are educated.
We are all out to enroll those out-of-school children back to school so that in the few coming years, Nigeria will cease to be educationally disadvantaged country.
Under the mop-up exercise, the Commission aims to enroll 1 million children before the end of July 2025. In Kano, Shehu Adamu, NTA News.
Meanwhile, a renewed wave of hope is rising for Nigeria's education sector as the Federal Ministry of Education strengthens ties with the Office of the Accountant General of the Federation. The collaboration aims to address persistent funding challenges and reposition the sector for growth with key focus areas including improved infrastructure, efficient data management, and reducing the number of out-of-school children. Zenre Dimon reports.
For years, Nigeria's education sector battled underfunding, with annual allocations consistently falling short of UNESCO's 15 to 20% benchmark, weakening every link in the chain, from teachers' welfare to basic learning materials. In response, 2 pillars of national development, the Federal Ministry of Education and the Office of the Accountant General of the Federation are crafting a new financing blueprint to guarantee value for money.
It's now efficient use of the Accountant General's office, where we have to do procurement here at the Ministry for 5 million naira, and you have to start doing the paper, we upload the document to you, and you have to process it and pay. Those things we can do at either agency level or ministry level.
We'll try as much as possible to review the bottom-up policy. And graciously, the Honorable Minister of Finance set up a committee to look into the merit and the demerit of the policy vis-a-vis the whole policy.
Their emerging framework promises strict financial discipline, transparent project delivery, and smarter resource deployment, signaling a fresh commitment to revive classrooms nationwide. In Abuja, Zenre Dimon, NTA News.
More on education with the 2025 UTME mop-up exam set for Saturday, June 28. The Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board, JAMB, has raised concern over the low number of candidates who have printed their exam slips. According to JAMB's spokesperson, Dr. Fabian Benjamin, only 12,442 out of 98,232 eligible candidates had reprinted their slips as of Friday morning, 27th of June 2025, just 12.6% participation. The board is urging affected candidates to urgently reprint their examination slips via the JAMB portal to avoid missing this final opportunity. The board stresses that candidates without printed slips will not be allowed into the exam hall and no further mop-up will be conducted. Barely a week after reviving the Grow What You Eat campaign, the National Senior Secondary School Commission has taken the message from workshop halls to the field. At Government Girls Secondary School Dutse, agriculture desk officers and relevant stakeholders watched students break ground on a pilot plot that will serve as a living classroom, linking theory with hands-on skills, strengthening food security, and nurturing the next generation of agri-entrepreneurs.
Renewing the push for food security under President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's renewed hope agenda, the National Senior Secondary Education Commission is expanding its Grow What You Eat program to 20 pilot schools, one in each geopolitical zone. Executive Secretary Dr. Iyala Ajayi insists that 21st century education must get learners from pages to plantations, turning theory into productive skills.
Our dear students, your participation is the heartbeat of this initiative. What you sow today, you will surely reap tomorrow, not only in food, but in values, in skills, and in dignity.
The Grow What You Eat initiative is not just about farming. It is about cultivating a mindset of self-reliance, innovation, and responsibility among our young people.
We are not only launching a garden or farm, we are cultivating a generation of young Nigerians who understand that agriculture is not a fallback option, but a forward path to sustainable development.
To anchor the rollout, INSEC handed a symbolic check to Government Girls Secondary School, Dutse, Abuja, a down payment on a future where students leave school not only literate, but enterprising, self-reliant, and ready to feed both themselves and the nation.
Let's now take you to our Port Harcourt Network Center, where Dibabari is standing by to give us more on Nationwide. Hello, Dibabari.
Port Harcourt. Evidence is clear. Invest in prevention is the theme of the International Day Against Drug Abuse. Stakeholders in the fight against drug abuse and illicit drug trafficking are raising their banners against the scourge, which has continued to pose serious threat to human and economic development of the country. Ijomogweke reports that the Nigerian Drug Law Enforcement Agency is taking the lead in breaking the cycle to stop the crime.
Every year, the NDLEA joins the global community to sensitize communities, students, stakeholders, youths, and women on the dangers of drug abuse and illicit trafficking through talk shows, lectures, and drama sketch to drive home the message of abstinence from drug abuse and illicit trafficking. As the rate of supply and distribution of illicit drugs such as cannabis sativa, marijuana, tramadol, and other substances has reportedly entered the country is high, the dangers of drug abuse and illicit trafficking have continued to pose serious threats to human health and growth of the society. The area commander, NDLEA Port Harcourt Ports Command, Omerio Matthias Odu, says the command is not relenting in the fight to achieve illicit drug demand reduction. Hence the call on stakeholders to invest in prevention as well as join to break the cycle.
They have been doing wonderful. We've intercepted over 40 footer containers. And that is a huge amount of quantity of drug that will have been in circulation. And that is how it's gone all over the Federation.
If we don't work together, the problem will not remain with NDLEA. The problem will remain with the society, and we are part of the society.
Before it gets to the end user, stop them, get them arrested.
For many other critical stakeholders, it is a time to collaborate and carry on the message in the fight against illicit drugs, especially in schools and communities. In Port Harcourt, Ijomugweke, NTA News.
At the Nigerian Television Authority Network Center, Port Harcourt, have been enhanced, particularly at night, following the completion of NDDC's Light Up Niger Delta project within the premises. Kingsley Amadi reports that the project brings with it security, economic, and aesthetic benefits.
Operation Light Up Niger Delta is an initiative by the current leadership of the Niger Delta Development Commission, NDDC. The key objective is to install solar-powered street lights across the region. The management of NTA Port Harcourt Network Center, led by Dr. Evelyn Wosu, leveraged on its mutual relationship with the Commission to attract this project to the station.
Right now, if you stay anywhere, you can see the ends of anywhere.
and the compound is very large. But with this installation of the standalone solar panel by NDLEA, it lit up the environment is beautiful. Aesthetic-wise, it's wonderful. If you come to NTA in the night, you'll just be awed. And as if that's not enough, you can now be sure that nothing happens around you that you will not see. So for me, it's a big one, and I cannot thank NDLEA enough.
229 of these solar-powered street lights are spread across NTA Port Harcourt premises. Jude Kadire is the project contractor.
This initiative, there's no doubt, if you listen to people on the streets, they will tell you, the impact it has in the communities. One, security. It doesn't need any maintenance. It just uses the nature's power.
Of course, staff of NTA Port Harcourt Network Center would like also to get them share their thought on this project.
If you are here around after 7 or to 8 at night, you be afraid to walk down the gates. But since this thing came down here, everywhere is bright.
The aesthetics alone is wonderful. Talk about the security. Unlike before.
Beside the solar-powered street light, NTA Port Harcourt has continued to reap the benefits of inter-agency collaboration as its relationship with Nigerian Army and the Nigerian Navy, among others, has produced mutually beneficial proceeds. In Port Harcourt, Kingsley Amajiri, NTA News.
From Port Harcourt is back to Nolin for the rest of the news. Good evening.
Vinay Dibabari, and thank you very much. Now to sports update.
Action continues Friday at the ongoing to the third African Fencing Championship in individual men's foil and women's saber event, with several young Nigerian athletes creating records. Nigeria's Oluwa Falayemi Akinsoyeye recorded a major upset when he defeated top seed Olympic silver medalist Fares Fajeni of Tunisia 5-4 on the road to the quarterfinals, where he fell 8-5 to another Tunisian, Ahmed Fajeni, in the men's saber event. In the President Federation's Cup final, scheduled for the Mobility Johnson Sports Arena on Saturday, the stakes are high with high expectations from stakeholders. Choir United Football Club vows to stop the runs of giant killers at Abakaliki FC that are set to make history.
I've seen it all, this level. So I believe I win. I don't have that pressure.
With this position now, the awareness is there from from our state. Everybody wants us to win.
For the female final, Rivers Angels are poised to bring experience to play against Nasarawa Amazons that wants to prove critics wrong.
It's just one game, it's 90 minutes, and we just have to do it. Raise up our mentality better than whatever level it is.
Nasarawa is a very good team. They have a sound coach. But I believe tomorrow, the better side will carry the day.
Flamingo faces Bayern Munich. Inter Milan meets Fluminense. In squash, about 80 junior squash players from 9 states and 3 academies are featured in the first Eco Club National Under-16 and Under-19 squash tournament for boys and girls in Lagos. The 3-day competition, which has been organized in memory of the former late squash stakeholder, late Adejomo Adenuga, creates another platform for the Federation to assess the growth and development of the future stars.
We're hoping that the game of squash will continue to grow and progress, and that young players will develop.
The sports update, Gift George, NTA News.
On a solemn note, the death of Hajia Hawa Yusuf Funtua, a former staff of the Nigerian Television Authority, has occurred on Thursday, 26th of June in London after an illness. Hajia Yusuf, who died at the age of 58, served as a news producer and a reporter covering many beats, culminating in her serving as the correspondent heading NTA Bureau in London, the United Kingdom. A recipient of the gathering of Africa's Best JAB Award of Excellence, the late Hawa Yusuf was also the Kakakin Masarautar Hausa in Europe. An indigene of Katsina State, late Yusuf received her early education in Plateau and Kaduna States. She obtained her first and second degrees from Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria, and she was also an alumnus of the London School of Journalism, Kensington College and Southern College, London. She is survived by her husband and 2 children. May her soul rest in peace. And that concludes Nationwide today. Thank you so much for watching. I am Nolene Ebelame. Bye for now.